All right, welcome back to VOD Review. So, looking at the defense side first, I thought that there was one issue that jumped out extremely glaringly that I think if we clean up, we win a lot more rounds. And that's that on 5 of the 7 rounds that we lost, we were in a a retake situation where we did not have good timing or positioning, where essentially there was at least one member of our team who wasn't at all close enough to support the retake, and as such we were playing as if we were man down when we actually weren't. So I think if we just clean up that one thing, we'll be a lot better. I was surprised to see how much that seemed to be the dominant issue for defense. As a side thing, we could flank more if we run it into another non-info comp, but maybe there will be a killjoy on the team that we face. We'll see. But starting with this round I just wanted to highlight that I don't think we were actually, we definitely weren't about to win on time here, because some people were saying that during the round happening. The person tapped the spike with 10 seconds left, so we could have potentially assumed they would fake the plant there, but I think that given the low time, it makes sense that they would commit to the plant. And so I think me and Chase played this fine. They just did a really good job of each winning their ones. So that was that's a minor note. That's not the main thrust of what was happening here. So if we move on to the next round, round 10 here, this is a light buy where I had a little extra cash, so I went ahead and grabbed a Vandal.
I'm giving up full front sight.
Yeah, now at this point, we lose a player on A, and then I get a pick there, and Cass and I are aware of the fact that they are pushing hard from short to A site. And up till now, we've played the round really well. We've, equalized things.
Alright, let's just go fight them in A.
I gave it up.
And then here, we have 2 people on B who are nowhere near being ready to go, but I end up breaking this wall and trying to, interrupt the plant or cause problems, and I die without, anyone else supporting. And, that all of a sudden turned it from a 4v4 into a 3v4.
Oh, tragic. Yep.
And then if we go to the next round, this is one of the rounds that we were very successful in how we used our retake coordination. And this was a very impressive round because we end up having to retake man down when the other team has a Brim ult, which is a little spooky. But you can see we're all in position together, us 3, when we start actually doing the retake. And we're also talking really well about what's going on.
The wall or no?
I've broken through the wall. I have Shark in
Rash is ready.
now.
She's going again.
Nice nail. One's in the tube.
Tunnel. Tube.
Raises in tube.
Up and away. Someone's there.
Nice. One's long.
One long. B.
Right
You're
side.
gonna play
TP
all
long.
One
Last
enemy
one's
remaining.
long. Last
Last
one's
long.
long. Has Brim ult. Has
him?
Brim ult.
I really should have got this kill, and I'm very glad that
No.
Alex clutches here, because I would have felt
Nice.
very bad
Might
otherwise.
have got the lineup off. Tickets.
So that was a good example.
And that's such a feels bad we wouldn't man.
Spike planted.
They got the plant down.
Oh yeah, let me back up a little bit. Yeah, so then this next
do an A
round,
hit.
the last round of the half, is
Hard A,
a
maybe.
very fast
Yeah.
A hit here.
They're in.
And you can see we actually have numbers at the moment, but I'm just hitting TP, and so Alex is basically alone on site at the moment, and Chase is all the way over on
3
B.
in.
I got 2.
Nice.
there.
Viper's there. I wall. Viper ult.
Viper
Oh,
ult.
Yeah, so right now we actually are in a 4v2.
the Viper, man.
Spike planted.
They got the plant down.
Okay,
They
we have-
planted somewhere to the left.
But I thought there wasn't much urgency, so I went ahead and grabbed my Dizzy, because Chase wasn't anywhere nearby.
The res.
That's
And then we
insane.
lose
That's
and Alex trying to make a
you
play.
know where
Nothing
Spike
is?
wrong
I
with
can
that.
it's
100%
default.
breaking that wall.
But then here we start going about the retake, and Chase is still really not in position, given that this is a Viper's pit. We want to all be able to push through that.
Your
And trade
left.
that.
One's
I'm sorry,
boxes.
Cass. No longer boxes.
And in this case, we don't end up losing anyone there. But once again, I just think that if we work together with that, we are
I'm up, Mosh.
Spam
going to be much better off. Also, I did go into the range and practice my Gecko mollies specifically for that corner, because I missed that twice, and it's really nice to be able to have that work. So hopefully I'll be able to actually molly that correctly.
I
in the
did
next
mine.
game.
Viper.
Yep.
Viper has to.
All right, so that's defense. There are a couple other rounds where we also didn't coordinate very well on the retake, but since it's kind of the same thing over and over again, I just made notes of those for the sake of time.
Still the inner pit.
Spike is half.
All right, so that was the main thing on defense that I saw, just making sure we're all ready to go before we start retaking, playing our lives until then for people who are on or near site. And then switching over to offense, I saw two different issues that I think would make a big impact if we clean them up. One is our positioning pre-round was often confusing, which has to do partially with some people just going to the wrong place and also me sometimes being unclear. It was some of both, but there were very often times when the strategy that I was trying to do and then where we were positioned for it really were out of sync. And then the second thing, which I think is more important, is that due to there being relatively long rotates on this map, with the exception of hitting the teleporters, we should definitely be more exec heavy and feel free to go on to A through this little channel into Lamps with Oliver's wall more. Contacting up through that I think could be very strong.
I have no ammo. Oh,
All
on me.
right, so let's go to round 2 here.
And we're
This round
It's
is
EA.
a
yeah, that's definitely not worth it.
this is
Okay,
a
no, I
anti-eco
got it.
here. So the
my wall?
specifics of us winning the gunfights are obviously very slanted in our favor. But this is how I think the Gecko plant really should work, because some people were asking questions about that in the aftermath of the game. Ideally, we'd have someone showers here, but I believe we started with a bit of a default. I don't remember how this round started. We don't have anyone showers.
I'm gonna play.
But from the minute that I commit to the plant,
That's all my smoke.
me and Alex go ahead and push into showers here.
Yeah.
And then Alex, as I'm going back for my wingman, suggests that we fully push showers, and I wouldn't have gone back for my wingman had I known that. I think that's a good call in general, just to make sure no one's there. So in the future, I'll kind of go along with that. But I think if we do it I think setting up in this manner is quite strong.
Orb up. Just
I
so
got
you
the
know.
spike.
You're exposed.
Good go.
Because
my wall.
I guess someone could have been heaven there could have been a bad timing there. But
I'm
in
gonna
general,
plant-
if we have someone lamps, we can get to lamps fairly easily with this wall. And Cass doesn't have to be aggressive here. Then we have our smoke coming down on site.
Swing showers, Alex.
So, we shouldn't have to worry about someone right here. That means, all the players here can focus on just pushing towards showers as Spike is going down. So that's how I envision us doing this a lot more in the next game, because I just think that we have the ability to do that with the Viper Wall and stuff. I guess the one counter to that would be if they end up playing with a Sage who often walls short and slows it, which the Sage really didn't do in this game. Then maybe we look to more other avenues more often. But
That's all my smoke.
yeah, I think that has the potential to work a lot of the time.
Backside of truck. That's my. All by what?
All right, so next let's go to round 16. So there are some things to talk about
Okay.
in round 16.
I'll push out with you if you're doing the one.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, this time, Alex, if they're gonna smoke long, I'm gonna go into the smoke and dizzy out.
yeah, so we were going to run a default here, and maybe I should use a different word than default because if we're in ranked and we default, that frequently means you just kind of go wherever. But I did have a specific vision for the default positioning, and we ended up very much not doing that because the idea with the default that I had for this game is that we have 3 people long, or possibly 1 hookah, and the 3 people long being me, Alex, and Chase. But as this round gets set up,
Push out with you if you're doing
we
the
end
one.
up just having me and Alex long, and then Oliver going late towards hookah, which is really suboptimal because I have Spike here. The thought is that if we have 3 people long, then we're not going to lose all 3, and we can hopefully get a pick and go teleporter, just push up and take the space, and then hit the teleporter, hit the site, or just leave if they're doing something crazy. So that's something where I think I should just be more clear about where people are going on the default, because it does, it's very different from a default in a traditional ranked game sense. But this is the tragic round here, the one that haunts me in my dreams, because they push out of hookah here, and it is true that we could have ran back and hit teleporter and then had a site for free, But at the end of the day, they are on an eco, if I remember correctly. No, they're not really on an eco because, yeah, they had just won the anti-bonus. So they have some money, but they're going for a very aggressive strat here. And I really support the call to pinch them here because obviously if you're shooting them in the front and the back, we're chilling. However, I just make a fatal error here. I'll turn up the volume a little
Right
here.
there.
Let's try to get the backstab, Alex.
They're in our spawn.
Let's just take A site.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did two things that were very unfortunate and wrong here. The first thing is, since I was seeing the back of Sage's head, I should have called for us just to trigger discipline because I think we could have walked all the way behind the Sage and there would have been everyone looking the other way, or at least most people. So that was mistake one. And then mistake number two is I thought based on how loudly they were clumping that Sage was just kind of hanging back and the rest of them were much further up. So that's where I pulled out and got wrecked. So that was very, very tragic. I think that if me and Alex trigger discipline up there all the way, it's a massacre. And if I just don't pull out my dizzy there, I probably get at least one more, probably more than that. So I think the macro strat of, going ahead and actually doing the pinch is good. And I just think that, the way it was executed was not. Would it also have been okay to pull off and go A? Sure. But at the same time, since they're all clumping through that together, they're going to be able to trade each other pretty well if they, come through here while we're in TP. So there's a good chance these fights don't go all that well for us. So I think I still stand by the call. I just think I executed it very poorly there. And that sucks because that was they were on somewhat of an eco and that, flipped the money and stuff. So that was a very pivotal round in the game. All right. Yeah, so then the next round is an eco. Yeah.
Spike all the way B long.
Well, I mean, we can go
I want
TP
to take
to
this
A.
vandal. Who wants this vandal? Not me. I'm not hitting
Turn
on
this down a little bit. Wait, did I skip the round?
That was insane.
Yeah, I did. Oops. Okay, so here we work together on the eco to go through hookah, and we're just able to get good trades. And as a result, we do get the plant down, and unfortunately, we lose out in the post plant. But it was a very good eco, and I honestly think this kind of pace of going ahead and doing the hits come hell or high water kind of thing is definitely something that we should do more often, just because of the long rotates and particularly on B, the very strong post plant setups that you can have. It's just that they caught Chase off guard in the back and then won the 1v1 here. So we just lost some unfortunate fights on site, but I think that hit worked really well. Oh, one other thing I'll draw attention to in this round as well is the fact that after we got onto site, there was Cass putting the pressure long, so Sky couldn't swing and interrupt the plant. And then, we immediately knew that we had to deal with Sky. Even though, Cass died attempting to do it, that still worked out really well. So I think that's great teamwork in terms of dealing with the fact that we don't have as much site control as we might want to. All right, so we're going to skip several rounds here to round 21. Yeah, this was, I think, a very good round. It's just that, unfortunately, we lost the last 1v1 here, but Alex said an excellent attempt at it. It just didn't go our way. Okay, so there were several issues with this next round. This was, I think, was our worst round on offense in terms of the amount of mistakes that we made. Well, I mean, maybe the other round was with the push out of hookah, but this was a very ugly round for a variety of reasons.
Let's see.
Your YouTube hasn't broken. I've alt tabbed out at this point.
Yeah, I
to
guess
check
let's
this
start with the default and see where it goes from there. Because you're having some good success there in short all.
I'm able to
You're
get
really
up there,
thorn in
but
their
then once we
side.
get up there, there's no real good way for us to execute because our plant.
Yeah, so once again, here in the default positioning, it ends up being just me belong, which at that point I kind of just end up rejoining the team because I shouldn't be going belong by myself. And that was a thing that people were sharing during the game of like, wait, what's going on with our spike by itself over here? And That was not the plan for it to be by itself over here. So in the next game, we should either definitely have 3 people here, or more often, probably, if we have face a similar team, have me with the spike and at least one other person with the wall over here by A short. So yeah, that definitely was suboptimal.
Isn't safe. Our showers isn't cleared.
Well, I mean, that worked out. We just were a little bit.
All right, so here,
Yeah,
as a result of how things go, we end up
When,
regrouping A.
All's
We
wall.
got
It's back.
something,
Let's
yeah.
contact into A.
Yeah, so we contact into A with Oliver's wall. We turn up the volume again.
Go back B. I think we go back B.
Okay, this is something I wanted to address right here. Cass just says, I think we go back B. I think in general, on this map in particular, due to the power of getting a kill and, the rotates being difficult, I really don't think the call is good to go back B there, because we have gained almost nothing on this site. And as a result, if that team is fundamentally sound, they shouldn't have rotated anyone over to A. If anything, when the Viper wall goes down as we're leaving, they're going to see that, there's no one here, and possibly rotate someone to B. So I think in general, we want to, unless it's the end of the round and we just have to rotate to the other site, despite having, not accomplished a lot on the site, I think in general, we want to, if we have some good utility like this Viper wall to get us into lamps, we want to make some noise at least before leaving. And then, if we're doing it fast enough, use that as a way to plant. So Cass decides to just go back B by himself. And I very much disagree with that, especially because given where the spike and the team is here, that, even if Cass gets a kill in hookah here, we could rotate back at that point. But, if spike is lost here, or, we end up planting, now Cass has to, go all the way around either way. And so, yeah, I would say let's absolutely not do this. Let's not, pull off and just start rotating to the other site after having not accomplished anything. Unless, we've lost players and there's been utility exchange so that they, maybe we're drawing some rotates. But I think this was not the right call.
Okay, let's see if we
What
get
are
a
we
kill
doing?
Luka, and then if not, we'll go back.
Okay, Hunter, be careful. Your
Yeah,
hookah.
you go hookah.
Or lamps.
Lamps. All I got this angle.
Viper or Puka. I'm gonna wait for it to go down. It's
Yeah.
mollied. They know that we could come back.
So then here we've managed to more or less creep in without making a lot of noise. And this is where basically the round falls apart somewhat because of the way the duels shake out. And this is where I think I could just play this differently, and this round would have gone a lot better.
All right, I'm gonna play.
So I go to plant here, and in that previous round, like I discussed, it's good to, when this plant is going down, to have people swing towards showers, especially if we don't have our showers player ready to trade off that. So we could have just waited a little bit more for Chase to push up more. I think that would have worked well. And then also we had the problem of Oliver dying right here, right as I'm doing that. Because then how this round falls apart, even though I don't think all 5 of them are on site, so I think this is a fairly winnable situation. The issue is that both me and Alex go towards lamps to deal with the person in lamps, and Chase isn't really ready to swing yet. So I think what I should have done is immediately thrown my molly here after I sent wingman out, and then Alex can kind of be somewhere here, just, holding someone who's going to aggressively swing through the molly. And then I push towards showers along with Chase swinging out of showers. And then as you'll see, what happened in the round is they've then very aggressively swing out of the smoke around this area. And, hopefully there's a good chance that Chase and I get both of those kills there, because I duel one and then Chase is swinging out for the other. And then I think we're in good position. And then, of course, there's, once again, Cass just being late to the party. in this case.
They swung in. They swung in.
Oh, yeah.
And then furthermore, I also just really lost track of time and also tried to force something that didn't make a lot of sense here in using my shark. That was just a big mistake by me. This was a dumb decision on multiple
Oh, we don't have
levels.
much time.
It would have been better to save it for the next round. So that was just a very a lot of things breaking down there, but also a lot of very fixable things that I think we want to be very aggressive in asserting pressure on sites and not just rotating away if we don't have any presence on the other site. If we have presence on the other site, if we have someone who's crept up into hookah and or long, then I would be okay with us, walking up here and then hitting TP or leaving. But I just think having to re-clear that whole side of the map after getting nothing done here is, we're working against time at that point and just basically resetting to the start of the round with worse time. Anyway, so that's enough about that round. That was kind of a mess.
Unfortunate.
And then finally,
Match point.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's have 3 of us go B long, and then the other 2 go A showers. So essentially, we have the quick rotate possibility if we don't get a pick on long.
Alex, let me buy you a rifle.
yeah. So here I made a mistake in terms of laying out the positioning for the round because I just said 3 of us go B long, and 2 of us go A showers. What I should have done here is I should have said Oliver and Cass, for instance. It doesn't really matter which of the people I swap out. Go showers. And that way Oliver can throw his wall and then go to A. Because instead, it's good to have that wall up so he is very not in position to be with us at the start of the round. And, I should have realized that would be a situation there.
I can
So
buy Spectre.
that was somewhat suboptimal.
Yeah, Ol, if you could, put that wall up.
I get the Viper wall punch thing again.
I guess we'll.
They're just playing so far back that I can lurk all the way up to
I
hookah.
hear showers.
Good pick.
Nice.
You will
Gotta be long
not
as
kill
almost.
my ally.
Out.
Yeah, so in this case, the round ended up going differently than I planned it, but it ends up going really well, which is a result of people doing a great job, and something that I think we should lean more into in the future game, which is that as a result of all the presence shown over here, Oliver pushes with the wall, Alex and Cass are tearing it up in showers. We now do get a whole bunch of rotates to A, and that allows us to basically plant for free on B and then get the backstab from Oliver to finish it off. So this round worked perfectly and shows the benefits there of having that sort of, push and pull going, but you have to, show that you're willing to push and be successful at it for that to work.
Nice.
Nice.
So yeah, this round was really great.
You have spike, so
I know.
careful.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit TP if quite possibly. That's what I'm waiting for you.
I haven't cleared lamps yet.
Brim heaven.
Heaven
Brim
and
heaven. Brim
CT.
heaven.
Yep, pull off. Let's go B.
Plant the spike, Wings.
Smoke's down.
Spike
I
planted.
knew I
Thanks,
heard
Wings.
that. 80
What the heck?
flank.
I have
got a
pointed
pretty-
left to our.
Yeah, let me
Good delay.
wait up a little bit.
Away.
You gonna wait?
So
I'm
we'll
out.
make
gotta
some
wait.
noise,
You got it,
thinking
you got
about
it.
me, and
Got
then
it.
not thinking about
One
Oliver
enemy
stabbing him in the back.
Let's go.
Yeah, so that round was pretty rad. So all in all, I think there are 3 things sticking out: defense, coordinate so that we're all there when we start our retake; offense, make sure our pre-round positioning is clear, and then also be willing to hit harder, more committed site hits, and also taking advantage of Oliver's utility to get a short, particularly if they end up not having Sage to stop it. So that's everything. Let me know what you think. That's all for now. Goodbye.